Hey, Sean, Joe Gonzalez at LinkedIn. Thought it might be fun to kind of record a short video for you, as I know you're going to be at a picnic offsite from work, just to kind of give you a 2-minute overview of what we're going to be discussing this afternoon. Pretty exciting prospect for you guys for the pilot. I ran the numbers with Stephanie. Your guys' market for these healthcare professionals is extremely hot. They're responding very, I'd say a lot higher, like very more often than a lot of other markets out there right now. So it's a great place to be in. The amount of jobs and opportunities you guys have open, your lead to close ratio 3-to-1, everything's really pointing in a really positive direction. So I'm excited to explore this avenue with you. And I wanted to walk you through basically a quick version of what would be included in this pilot program. I'm basically asking you guys for an investment of 15 grand, and I'm going to show you potential ROI would be somewhere around above 500, maybe up to even $660,000 for the next 5 months. So it's that exciting. But I'm going to take a moment here and share my screen with you and teach you just a little bit about, visually speaking, what the member experience would look like and how you're going to collect these leads and how it works. So give me just a moment here. Share the screen. Close this guy down. All right. So as we had walked through in the past, basically there's a funnel on LinkedIn. You guys currently have the 9 seats, 10 job slots on LinkedIn Recruiter, the closing portion of this funnel to bring in more leads, because obviously we're limited on the amount of emails you can send per month, but to drive more inbound candidates to help you guys make more placements, we need to do 2 things right. One is drive in that audience, make them aware of who you guys are. And when they get there, is show them a brand experience for the healthcare initiative that gets them excited. Number one, they understand what your unique value proposition is. And as well, there's a handful and variety of jobs there that are relevant to them that they can actually take action on. So there'll be a lot of indirect value that's driven from this. Like I'm talking to you specifically about how I'm going to hand you guys, responses to in-mail leads that we're bringing in to say, hey, here's supplemental candidates, place more people in these roles, with this awesome ratio you guys have. But there's a lot of extra value that's going to be driven from the engagement and the activity around your new upgraded company and career page, those job application rates. There's a lot of indirect value that's going to come from this program. And I'm going to teach your recruiters how to leverage those spotlights in the new version of Recruiter so that they can start taking advantage of this activity that you're going to drive. So we've converted the profile advertisements to Management Recruiters of Colorado to the Healthcare Initiative. So these are now pointing in the right direction. So it's not required to add those to the program. You have 9 seats on 10 job slots. In this program, we're going to upgrade you to a career page, which I'm going to show you B.E. Smith's as an example. But that's just the branded experience where instead of a cascading news feed, you're going to have an experience that showcases, the verbiage, the text, the imagery, the jobs, the testimonials that surround the space for these career, healthcare professionals. So when they show up, they feel like, wow, I found the right place on LinkedIn. This is where I should be spending my time and I'm going to find a lot of value. So when they come to this page, it's important to have jobs posted because the 7 top relevant jobs to them will be shown on the right-hand side of that page with an option to explore more. So the jobs for this promotion on the pilot, I basically went back to my management team and said, look, Sean's going to be at a picnic. Like we're talking very briefly at the very end of the day and the last day of the quarter. I said, look, can I get upfront approval to give him 40% discount on all of our discountable products, meaning everything but the lead generation side. So the career page, job slots, and recruiter seats, and they gave me the approval up front. So I'm pretty much just being 100% transparent with you. I can get you job slots for $163 a piece and recruiter seats for $500 a piece through the end of the year. So want to load up on jobs if you have you said you have a lot of openings, and this will drive a lot of applicants. It will drive a lot of visitors, collect followership like B.E. Smith's done. And that again is more the indirect value you're going to bring. But what we're talking about today on top of this is basically just warming up and then bringing the conversation and the opportunities to these candidates inbound. So you don't have to do the work here. You'd write out one message and we're going to essentially send out an in-mail campaign to 2,500 candidates. We expect for your market that half of them will open that message, and we're looking somewhere between 5 and 10% of them to actually click through or respond. So we're going to deliver you in a range from 60 to 100 leads. So to look at this in live, there's two pieces here. One is a direct in-mail campaign, and these don't actually show up in a candidate's inbox until they log in. So there's no wasted in-mail. And again, our open rate is over 50%, which is incredible. It's unmatched to any other type of email marketing in the world. The other part, and this is optional to the program, is sponsored updates. This is just another traffic driver. Can be candidate or client focused, depending on how you want to leverage the budget there. But an optional like $5K spend if you want to do sponsored updates. B.E. Smith does sponsored updates and sponsored in-mail pretty religiously. They've had a career page for a number of years now, but this is a great, just again, attraction and like engagement builder. We could always add this on later if you prefer. If I were to break it down into two things that are the most important, it will be that career page experience for $5,000, and then having 10 grand worth of budget for sponsored in-mail. And then whatever types of seats and slots you wanted to add on, those are going to be heavily discounted as well. So again, we pick an audience that you've chosen on LinkedIn. And then basically we have about, let's say there's 4,000 or 5,000 of those folks. We would then send out 2,500 messages, and they'd all just be pending in the LinkedIn atmosphere. And then they would actually get sent to those individuals once they logged in. So it's kind of like serendipity. They've seen your logo, they've seen your updates, and then maybe your jobs from LinkedIn. Maybe they've been to your career page, but then all of a sudden they get a message from you. They're opening it over half the time. And then our conversion rates, vary between 5 and 10%. Having a strong brand will increase the number of responses you do get. So we're focusing on in-mail leads. We're also going to be focusing on followership as well. Followership. And then the third piece would be the activity around your company brand on LinkedIn. Again, because the new version of Recruiter allows you guys to then look at, hey, here's all the candidates we're interested in. How many of these folks have engaged with our brand in some way, shape, or form? So this is another piece we're going to keep watching. You guys are about 3,800 followers right now. B.E. Smith's a little over 12,000, but you guys can make that grind up pretty quickly. But very, very powerful. Pilot would look something like this. Basically, the 10 grand would go towards getting you guys candidate leads. 5 grand would get you 60 to 100 leads. 10 grand should get you between 120 to 200 leads. So this is for 5 grand. I'm recommending we put in 10 to get you guys. You said you had hundreds of openings. If you guys are converting 3 to 1, I'd like to try to put 120 to 150 leads in your lap and see you convert 30 to 50 new placements off of this campaign. The silver career page, awesome. I got this discounted as well, down to 5 grand for the rest of this 5-month pilot. So everything above. And then if you were to add on again, job slots, $163, recruiter seats at 500. These have both been discounted from your guys' 5-month rate, down 40%, even more. So projecting to grow, add more seats, or again, I would add as many jobs as possible. They're a great traffic driver. It give people a reason to stick around when they visit that career page and other influencers. So here's a good ROI expectation. You're probably gonna need to download this from my email. I probably won't be able to see it on your phone from here, but 5,000 in-mails is going to give you 60 to 100 leads. If we were to put $5,000 towards sponsored updates with these in-mails, essentially warming them up before, we'll be moving more towards 100 leads versus 60 to 100. We'll be more confident in that number. If you were to put 10 grand behind just a sponsored in-mail, again, we look from 120 to 200 direct leads, and you're closing 3 to 1 ratio. So let's say in this instance, for here, if we did and split up the payment or investment between these two products at a ratio of 3 to 1, 20 grand per placement, somewhere in the upwards of 660 grand. But there's a lot of indirect value that you're going to bring and leads from these sponsored updates. And if you want to go bigger, we can, or if you want to just focus on getting a handful of direct leads, 100, 150 or so, I think that'll be plenty. It'll be super successful. We're very confident in that. And then I broke down below here, the career page influences in-mail response rates, your job application rate, and general engagement. So your recruiters and the activity they have now should be improved. Their ratios and their responses should improve by having that career page. So they're going to be more successful on top of the additional revenue we're going to drive. You have profile advertisements, a great thing we do because your employees' profiles receive 988 views a month. So now we're directing them to become a follower and stick around with the healthcare initiative. Job slots are a great inbound driver. It brings more people to your career page, which at this point, if we develop a really cool career page, it'll be a lot stickier and they'll be hanging around, essentially being warm leads for your team to close later. and then recruiter seats. Obviously, you guys have been using those a long time. So with all that in mind, again, about 15 grand, I'm suspecting somewhere in the realm of, $500,000+ revenue growth. Here are two, little links here. I put one up for the homepage. If you're interested, if you haven't researched BE Smith lately, some of the content they're sharing, I think we had talked about developing tomorrow's leaders today, the baby boomers leaving the workforce. They have 130 jobs posted on their career page. They haven't even done an amazing job with their career page, to be awesome. I think you guys could do much better. But essentially, telling, hey, here's all the jobs that are relevant to Joe. Let me tell you a tailored story, leverage some testimonials, talk about recent topics trending in today's news that's relevant to the industry, and then other resources. If you could create some videos, I know Gary Miller at Miller Resource Group has a whole bunch where he talks about what's happening today. That stuff goes over real well. It's more engaging and exciting. But again, we're going to have that careers tab. And again, they've got 130 jobs. They're really pressing full court to have a great brand experience, get a whole bunch of traffic in. They leverage sponsored updates often. They send a ton of sponsored in-mail. And their sponsored in-mail rates for this audience have just been astronomical. Really, really exciting. But again, I think you can take it to an instance where you have such a cool career page that looks more like the one I had showed you before for Betts Recruiting. Much more graphical, much more visually interesting. Getting a video in would be awesome. Leveraging a whole bunch more content. And I'm going to work with you guys on this piece. But in any case, just wanted to bring all this to your attention, walk you through it briefly, and basically give you guys an opportunity to, join in this pilot with me. And we've got Gary as well. So I'm really looking forward to it and looking forward to talking to you this afternoon. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, Sean. Take care.